Well, good morning, friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay. I have an Instagram with the same name. I'll link below. And if you like this video, please do me a favor and like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you can stay in the loop of when a new video of mine comes out. So today, we're going to make some sourdough snacks. And we're also just going to get back into the rhythm of things after Josh's third MMA fight. If you haven't seen the fight night vlog that I posted, I'll link it below. And he also has one coming up on November 8th. So that will be his fourth MMA fight. As I am recording this voiceover right now, that is in a few days here. I'll be filming that one as well, and that video will be up sometime next week. Okay, so right now I am feeding my starter, so I have enough for our crackers that we will be making. Yes, they're going to be sourdough crackers, and if you have not tried them, stay tuned because they are so much better than store-bought. Lately, I haven't been using my sourdough starter for anything, really, just because we have hard water where we live, and we haven't been buying water salt. So my starter didn't like the hard water, and it just wasn't bubbling the same as it used to. So I have switched to commercial yeast to make my bread, which my husband is happier about anyways. He likes the sourdough, but it's too dense for his preference, so which I think is more of my fault. I've been making bread, sourdough bread specifically, for quite a few years now, but I don't think I have mastered the perfect softness of it yet. There have been a couple times where it has come out more soft than dense, and it's not so much that it's dense or gummy at all. It just isn't soft like regular yeast bread. So I think I need to work on that. So yeah, that's why I made the switch. My husband really likes the soft yeasty bread, and my starter just hasn't liked the hard water. But lately I've been getting back into the sourdough, and here we're making some sourdough banana bread. 2 videos ago, you guys have seen my little hack for buying produce on sale at my local grocery store, and sometimes they'll have huge bags of bananas. So I took full advantage of that because we love all things banana treats and we love putting them in our smoothies. So I put some in the freezer and I had a lot of them, so I needed to use them up. So I decided to make some banana bread. And I'll link the recipe that I used down below. I honestly don't use my stand mixer that often. When I got it, I thought I was going to use it more than I actually do. But I just use it mainly for cookies and for simple doughs like this. Or if I really want to whip something up like egg whites to turn into marshmallows and things like that, like whipped cream. But I find that for the most part, for like bread doughs, I need by hand. It's a little bit of an older and used stand mixer as well, so It's not as powerful as it once was, I'm sure, when it was brand new. Maybe in the future when this one dies completely, I'll get a new one. But I don't know, I find it was just one of those things that I don't get very much use of. It's used for specific things. And I totally forgot to get the final look of this banana bread for you guys, so I'll have to get better at doing that. This is my sourdough starter that I fed. It looks so much better now that we got some water salt. And now we're moving on to the sourdough crackers. So I love making these for a snack, or if we're going on a trip. They are relatively easy to make. For your first time, well, for my first time, it was easy to make, but I felt like it was more of a process to do all the time. But now that I know the recipe and I know the process well, it's not as daunting to do. I can just whip up the dough even just a few days in advance and stick it in the fridge, and then roll it out and cut it and bake it. It really isn't that big of a deal, nor does it take too much time. And it's a relaxing process for me anyways. I love baking and I love cooking. I find it very therapeutic. So this is just a way for me to zone out and kind of have a meditative experience. And of course, sometimes my daughter wants to get involved. So this was one of those days. She loves playing with Play-Doh, and she loves playing with dough of any kind. So anytime I'm making a dough, she usually wants to get in on it. So the recipe I am using is from Farmhouse on Boone. And I have done a lot of her recipes, and I really, really love them. I pretty much get a perfect result every single time with every recipe I make. The only tweaking I've done with this recipe is adding more salt to the dough. Personally, I think it just tastes better that way. But if you're going to try and make it yourself, follow the recipe first and then tweak it to how you prefer it. I've also made a couple variations of this recipe. I've played around with different herbs and seasonings. I've also added cheddar cheese, which is so good. It tastes very similar to Cheez-Its. And so far, my favorite seasoning to put in this cracker recipe is thyme. I don't know what it is about thyme, but it is probably my favorite herb to use. It's just so savory. And the great thing about this recipe, and I mentioned it before, is that you can make the dough ahead of time and stick it in the fridge for whenever you're ready to make them. Now, I have done that, and I have left the dough in my fridge for maybe a month is the longest, somewhere around there. And they still turned out really good. They just ended up being a little too hard to work with. And I think that's because the dough continues to ferment in the fridge, but it just slows down the process. So that's why you can stick it in there and kind of forget about it for a couple days or weeks. But I found that leaving it in there for a month really let the dough ferment. And so the dough just kind of fell apart. Now, it's not like when you over ferment bread dough and it makes it really, really hard to work with, in the case that it literally falls apart and you can't work with it. The cracker dough because it's a little bit more firm from staying in the fridge, it's not quite falling apart to the point where you can't work with it, but it's getting to that point. So I wouldn't recommend leaving it in there for that long, maybe, but you can leave it in there for quite a while. The recipe also says to bake these at 350, but I bake them in my oven at 400 just because I don't like waiting too long. I get really impatient with this recipe. I don't know what it is specifically about this recipe I'm impatient for, but I also find that these brown up really, really quickly. So if I'm going to wait there, I'd rather wait there for a shorter amount of time and just stay there and watch them just to make sure they don't get too brown. The recipe also says to bake them for 15 minutes and then take them out and cut them into squares. But I guess you could do it either way. I guess you could follow the recipe and do a little bit of a slower bake time and cut them, or do them my way. I just cut them ahead of time, or sometimes I don't, and then I bake them and then I cut them after, or just break them apart after. Either way, whichever way you go about doing this recipe, I'm sure the crackers will turn out delicious all the same. Mine also bubble up almost every time I make these, and I think that's just because I have to roll them out thinner. So I'll leave the recipe in the description box below for you guys. And if you make these or have made these, comment below and tell me how you like them. I have made so many of the recipes on her website, and all of them are good. She has so many different kinds of recipes, and so I highly recommend checking out her blog as well as her YouTube channel, Farmhouse on Boone. So this is what my house looked like the Sunday after Josh's fight. We got home late Saturday night / early Sunday morning, about 3 a.m. So we were really tired and lazy the next day. So I just decided I wasn't going to clean the house. We were going to have a lazy day. So that's just a reminder for all moms out there, including myself, that your house doesn't need to be perfect 24/7. Social media is only a highlight reel. Give yourself grace. I used to be so particular about my cleaning schedule and sticking to which days I took care of certain tasks, but nowadays I'm way more lenient. I honestly just get to it when I get to it. If I have the energy and if I see that something needs to be cleaned, I'll clean it right there and then. Sometimes I don't always have the time right there and then to do it, so I'll make a list of what needs to be cleaned and then get to it when I have the time to, or when I can get to it. I tidy every day because that takes little to no time to pick stuff off the floor and put things back to where they belong. But yeah, and I usually do deep cleans like once a month. And I really enjoy having a clean, put together home. It does help me have a better and more clear headspace, but I don't let myself get overwhelmed by it anymore like I used to. I just let it roll off my back. If something's dirty or messy, there's a difference between something being dirty and something being messy. I don't like my house being dirty. I don't mind if there's a little bit of a mess. I have kids now, so there's obviously going to be messes, and I have become a lot more relaxed in that sense. My house is not always going to be tidy, and I'm okay with that. And you know what? It's not always going to be super, super clean either. I've accepted my floors are going to be dirty. I've accepted that my walls are going to be a little bit dirty. So it just is what it is, and I've become a lot more relaxed. So just a little mini encouragement for you guys and myself as well, that the mess can stay when you need a rest. It will always be there to be picked up later. So obviously Halloween is over when this video is coming out. So this was us last week carving our pumpkins and getting ready. And I did make a post about Halloween coming from Catholicism. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can check it out on my Instagram page. But when it comes to my convictions on Halloween, now that I have a kid, obviously I think about all of the holidays more in depth. And although I do believe that Halloween has been commercialized and obviously perverted into what it is now, I don't believe kids dressing up and going door to door to our neighbors and getting candy is a bad thing in and itself. Now, there are boundaries that I have regarding that. One being, I don't feel comfortable with them dressing as witches and ghosts and things of that nature, just because I don't want them to think that it's just a friendly thing. The spiritual world is real, good and bad. Obviously the good, but the bad is real. Ghosts are real, demons are real. I don't want them to become familiar with the idea of communicating with them is okay. I want them to be familiar with knowing that they are real and what their purpose is. So yeah, that's where I stand on that. If you guys have any questions, let's talk about it in the comments below. But yeah, we carved our pumpkins and I saved the seeds to put in my seed collection for our garden next year. So we have a lot of pumpkin seeds now. And along with trick-or-treating, it rained here Friday night, so officially Halloween night. So we didn't get that much trick-or-treating in, but our local church did have a trunk-or-treat. So people decorated the back of their trunks and handed out candy for all of the kids. And they had some games and activities and popcorn and hot chocolate. And it was actually a really cool thing to see and be a part of and meet some new people. And it was really fun. People got really creative with their decorating too. One car had like a Tim Hortons theme and we're handing out Timbits. And another one was like a crazy cat lady. And she had a picture of all of the cats she had, and her husband was dressed up as someone from the pound. And they had the treats in like a fake litter box. I think some of the kids thought it was a real litter box, but it was just filled with Rice Krispies. So some people got really clever. So it ended up being a lot of fun. My daughter was very shy at first, but she started to warm up by the end of the night and started walking on her own and carrying her bag. I think she just liked dressing up as a princess pony, most of all. So yeah, the training continues. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Josh has another fight this weekend. This will be his 4th fight. And we will be going, but we're just staying at the hotel this time. We won't be going to the venue to watch him fight like last time. Just because the crowd does get a little rowdy. And the energy is quite heightened at these events. So it's just best that we stay at the hotel and watch from the hotel. But we will be going to the weigh-ins with Josh and seeing the venue. So I will be filming all of that for you guys to see, and just our trip in general. So that video will be out next week. And I think that's all I have for you guys today. So again, if you liked this video and want to see more, please do me a favor and like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next time.